Hey everyone, and I'm Christina Giordano, the founder of Souled, that is SOUL''D. And my philosophy is this: people can no longer be sold to, they must be sold to. This is selling with soul. This is marketing with integrity, where you no longer need to compromise your authenticity, your boundaries, your uniqueness, your wholeness. This is messaging in a way that actually reflects the transformation you provide, because it's your story, your transformation, and nobody can compete with that. This is manifesting in a way that honors your fullness, all of the pieces and parts of you that are meant to be divinely resourced. Join me every Wednesday to learn all of this and more. Let's jump right in. So first things first, if you are catching this new episode of Souled, this is episode number 37, and we're back. We haven't been back for a while. We took a little hiatus while my kids were on summer break, and I decided to take a little break for myself to regroup, reassess, refocus, and kind of re-strategize so that I could come back refreshed and rejuvenated, all ready for this season. Now, on a note of seasons, I may not be doing this in seasons anymore. It may just be episode to episode. So going forward, there's probably not going to be season 1, season 2, season 3, which and now would be season 4 of Souled. It's probably just going to be episode to episode, because I'm realizing that this is something that I want to keep up on a weekly basis. I enjoy being consistent with it. And so right now I'm committing to doing just that. Now back to the episode today. Because we are in a new setting, in a new dynamic, I wanted to let you know that this is all very tentative. I'm kind of just playing with my equipment, playing with some new things, seeing what works best for how I want this to be delivered and displayed for all of you, the viewers on here. If you listen to these episodes on my podcast, that episode is actually going to be entirely different, because I decided to no longer film at the same time that I audio record. I wanted them to be separate because, frankly, it was like air traffic control where I was doing too many things at once. So going forward, I will be filming these separately, and the audio recording will be separate as well. Now, today's episode is called 5 Reasons Your Essence is Required in Your Soul-Aligned Business. If you want to catch the written version of this, you can head to my blog, but also this article, or a version of it, was submitted to Brains Magazine. I am officially an executive contributor for them as of September of this month. And I submitted my first article to them just a couple weeks ago, which was this. This was the kind of the title of it. So another way to check out some of my episodes is to check out my executive contributor page on the Brains Magazine website. Now, back to the content for today. The soulpreneurs who find me are just that. They're soulpreneurs. And they believe that they know they don't have a job, they don't have a career, they have a calling. And because they have a calling, their soul path and their career path are uniquely intertwined. And so they essentially feel so out of alignment with the current protocol and recommendations and standards of marketing and manifesting. Now, if you're listening to this, I think you're one of them. You're somebody who has a calling. You're someone who believes that your soul path and your career path are uniquely intertwined, and that you've been given a higher purpose through a higher power. And so you're living out your higher calling. You're living out a higher path. And as you've built your business, I'm guessing that you have felt out of alignment with the way that marketing and manifesting has been done. And to me, the old paradigm of manifesting and marketing essentially pulls us away from ourselves. That's kind of like the ick of it. It diminishes our light and shines a spotlight on something that's not us. So our credentials, the natural byproducts of our work, the overarching benefits of our work, our skill set. It's basically centered on either what we do or how we got there or something like that, but it's not necessarily the truth of our heart as it relates to the strength of our work. And that's something that I want to change. I want people to work with their essence, to build with their essence, to speak from their essence, because what you do, if it is really a calling, it's also about who you are. And that's a huge part of it. And so today I'm giving you 5 reasons as to why your essence is essential to the business building process if you are building a soul-aligned business. So let's go through the reasons. Reason number one, when you work with your essence, you become insanely magnetic, which allows you to attract instead of chase and flow instead of force. Now, I know that you've heard this before, and the manifesting gurus will say it all the time. Your inner world creates your outer world, and I 100% agree with this. The problem is that the manifestation matrix asks you to do more and be more without actually allowing the inner transformation to happen that's required to happen in order for you to make things happen without effort. Because I will say that there's an older version of you that is operating with these concepts of marketing and manifesting from your soul. However, when you're working with a newer version of you, the version of you who has removed everything that isn't you, who has shed all of that, who has maxed your energy out, that version of you has the capacity to call in and attract more than what you can even imagine. And it happens naturally without much effort on your end. Now, the manifesting gurus of the world will give you the quick fix of feel more of this or think more of that. And this might work for short-term goals, but for the long term, you're still the same version of you who's just exerting more effort than you want to be. And like I always say, you can't build an empire before becoming the version of you who can hold it, meaning it won't arrive until you do. And people hate hearing this because the inner transformation, it requires radical honesty. And you have to be in a place where you're capable of doing that and really seeing yourself in that way. Because as you release and detach yourself from old versions of you, you start to meet your essence. And that's because you're really clearing and healing your whole being, your entire being. You're removing all of the things that weren't you so that you can become the shining beacon of light that you are. Reason number two, when you work with your essence, you're no longer relying on your outside world for direction, next steps, or even validation. You just know how to move. And you move with precision. That's one thing that I had to realize for myself as well, is that I am like the queen of efforting. I will do all the things to make something happen. But I realized that I was doing a lot of the wrong things in order to make things happen, when really I could have just attuned myself and worked on that inner intuition that I already have within me, that inner capacity that I already have within to make the right moves. And so it's easy to get swept up in what we should do and the noise of what the marketing experts tell you to do. But if I know you, you're not going to do things that are completely out of alignment with what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And so the next best thing is to work with your essence, because when you work with your essence, you remember what you're made of and where you come from. And that's a natural result of shedding everything that isn't you. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and your next move will always come from you. Reason number three, when you work with your essence, you learn how to co-create with life in a whole new way, because you're not outcome focused, you're intention focused. So one of the foundational principles of the money methods or the manifesting methods, I kind of use those names interchangeably, is that we're dropping the need to focus on outcomes. And this is a huge piece of the current manifestation matrix, is that they ask you to get really clear, really specific on what you want to get, on the specific result that you're after, so that you can create that inner knowing that it's going to happen, or that thing is ours. But there are a few reasons as to why doing this could actually be detrimental, and why it kind of goes against the natural flow of manifesting. So firstly, when we get hung up on a specific outcome or a specific result, we tend to cling. And I know you've probably heard this before, but if we're chasing something, that means it's running from us. So part of manifesting requires that we detach ourselves from the outcome. It requires this detachment because our happiness is no longer dependent on it. We are whole, we are okay, we are fine without that thing. It's our essence that is worth more than that specific thing. And the detachment allows for things to flow and unfold without us having to touch it, without us having to make things happen. Secondly, when we focus on an outcome or a specific result, we get hyper-focused on getting something versus experiencing it. And what matters more is who we become in the process of it, who we become in that co-creation process, because the act of co-creation is creating life itself. It's creating. That is what co-creation is. It's not dependent on what the outcome is. It's dependent on the flow and how you move through it. And so it's not always the end result of the creation that we desire. What we desire and what is the most fulfilling is who we become in the process of creating it. And finally, in number 3, when we are so attached to an outcome or specific result, we are out of integrity with our purpose. Like I said earlier, you have a higher purpose that was instilled within you from a higher power, and that is your calling. And so it's not necessarily what you do, it's who you are. And because who you are is highly integrated into this process of living out your calling, you must move in integrity towards it. You must be integrated as you move towards your calling so that you can experience what you want to experience based on what you value, so that you can move towards it regardless of how it turns out. And when you move with intention, and instead of moving with a specific outcome in mind, you release that pressure valve that is so full of constriction and expectation and fears, and you allow yourself to fully engage in the process of co-creation, which is the actual experience, not the outcome itself. Reason number 4, when you work with your essence, you're breaking chains of old pain, patterns, and programming, which allows you to step into the version of you who wins. I love talking about the version of you who wins, because this means that you're no longer in a losing battle against yourself and the world. And there are so many people, most people are stuck in versions of themselves that are operating from old pain, patterns, and programming. So when you break these chains, what you're doing is you're breaking free from everything that you should be doing and doing what you really want to do. So when it comes to marketing, you're breaking free of marketing in the way you should be. Instead of marketing your credentials and what you do and the overarching benefits and the natural byproducts of the work, you're marketing the transformation. You're being the walking representation of the transformation. And when it comes to manifesting, you're breaking free from limiting beliefs, toxic attachment styles, energetic siphoning, nervous system dysregulation, and so much more. You're freeing yourself from what every single person on the planet is still stuck in. And you're freeing yourself from the ways of the worldly world, is what I want to call it. And it's all about your value and your worth. So all of the things outside of you that make you valuable and worthy no longer have that power. They no longer do. You are free from all of it. And it's because you've tapped into your essence. Because your essence, at the end of the day, is free. It's free of judgment. It's free of validation. It's free of, nobody can take it from you or validate it for you. It's just free because it is your higher self. Reason number 5, when you work with your essence, you fully see your value, your worth, and the magic of your unique and destined path. You've invested in the one thing that creates everything for you. So this is what I was saying earlier. Your essence is free. It's free of doubt. It's free from fear. It's free from judgment. All of the things that used to hold you back, imposter syndrome, comparisonitis, they don't hold you back anymore because you are able to express yourself to your fullest. You've brought your energy to its max, and you've integrated the one thing that will now be in the driver's seat of your life, and that's your higher self. So take a moment to really imagine building a business with your higher self leading the way. Imagine what that would be like. And honestly, the one word that comes to mind for me is free. And this is really what I want for you more than anything. I want you to realize that your highest vibration, your universal signal, your truth that you came here to share, it doesn't come from you being more joyful or being more strategic or being more positive or being more grateful or more spiritual or more practical or all of the things that the world tells you to be more of. It doesn't require you to be more or do more of anything. It comes from you being more true. And the only way you can be more true is to shed all of the pieces and parts of you that aren't actually you. Because when it comes to marketing, and I've talked about this before, instead of marketing your credentials and your skill set and all the things, people want to know that you've been right where they are so that you can help them overcome it, so that you can help them get it out of it. And when it comes to manifesting, I'm talking about like buying 1,000 crystals, or doing all of these rituals that make you question your sanity, or the fake like alarms and notifications that you set for yourself to trick yourself into thinking that you're selling something. The universe doesn't want you to do more fake crap. It just wants you to be more true. That's what marketing and manifesting is requiring of you. That's what building a soulful business requires of you. It requires you to be more true. Another way of saying that is being more authentic, showing up more authentically. So to learn more about the methods and becoming this newer, truer version of you, head to the Get Guidance page of my website to learn how you can learn about the methods, how you can work with me, and how you can build your business with the souled approach to business building. Until next time, be well and take care.